Okay, so welcome to the pain-free introduction, and this is a talk about what is the pain-free method, how can it help you, how does healing work in your body, why have you got symptoms in your body, and what's the correct way to get rid of them, how do you get rid of them with this method that has been proven now for over 23 years, and I'll explain all the details of that as we go through. So I have a gift for you. As long as you stay to the end, I have a gift to give you the pain-free free guide that gets you started on your pain-free journey. And it's great to be pain-free and know how to do that, but you have to understand the mechanisms about how the foundations about how healing works. And it's really simple, it's very straightforward, but it's very important to start from day one to get to know how the mechanisms work. How do you get pain free? And in the free guide, this is the first step of how to do that. What's the basis of understanding about how to get rid of pain, any pain in your body? As long as you stay to the end, then I'm going to be sending uh, the uh, the pain-free e-guide to your email, as well as this recording of this call. So just checking you're in the right place to make sure that you're not wasting your time. You've been suffering with chronic or long-term pain. It's been going on for a long time. Most people I work with have had something for at least months, very often many years, even 30, even 40 years. And you can use this method, the pain-free method, for simple niggles and negativity, all the way to serious conditions that you've had for years. You're in the right place if you tried everything and nothing's worked and you're not quite sure what it is or why you've got it, or what you're trying to understand why you've got your thing. You might have tried mainstream things for it, medication or even operations. You might have tried natural things, massages and herbs and natural things, but it's not quite got rid of your thing. You're in the right place if every morning you wake up and you wonder how you're going to manage today. It's woken you up in the night. It's starting to dominate your day, feeling like you're never going to be pain free, and it's just kind of creeping into your life. It's getting in the way of what you want to do. It's always on your mind. It might even had a knock-on effect on your mood swing, on your moods. Some people come to me and they're in a place of no hope, or lost hope, or depressed, or wonder if it's even possible to get rid of this, get rid of your symptoms. And in some cases, people are even suicidal. So you might be in that place where it's starting to affect your feelings and how you are in the day. You're in the right place if you can't go anywhere, you can't stand up, you can't walk around without pain. It's just really having a dominant effect in your life. You've started to cancel holidays or social events. You're not going to that wedding, or you can't meet up with a girlfriend or a friend for even coffee or something, because it's managing how you're feeling, and it's just going to be on your mind all the time. So it's just easier just to cancel the events. You've already spent so much money trying to fix this, but nothing's worked. Many people have bought all sorts of machines, or done courses, or bought things like herbs and remedies. One guy had a special chair for his back. It cost him over £1,000, and he was a trucker, and he was trying to help his back, and he was told to learn to live with it, and this is going to be how it is for the rest of his life. And he started spending money on chiropractors. So maybe that's to you too. Maybe you've been spending a lot of money on trying to help yourself. So who am I? I'm Althea. I help women suffering chronic, long-term skeletal and muscular back pain, who are ready to be free of this pain. So I specialize in skeletal, muscular, joint problems, but the method can be used and has been proven to be used for many, many other symptoms. So I've been a natural therapist for over 30 years, and mostly I've been working in clinics over that time. I originally studied things like shiatsu, reflexology, Reiki, Chinese massage, acupressure, all sorts of things over the years, and all holistic things. And from that knowledge and experience of working with many, many people in the clinics and learning about the body and learning my techniques and things, I developed, and when I was around about my 30s, I developed a program that gets you pain free without meds or surgery to get incredible results in as little as 90 days. And the results you'll start to experience from day one. I've discovered something so powerful that it has given the lives back to many people around the world. Most people who come to me, they tend to be in a really poor state and kind of almost given up. They're told to learn to live with it, things like that. But you know, as I said, the method can be used for every kind of step along the way to that degree. Most people don't sort of start with awful chronic pain. They start with perhaps niggles or things that just sort of always there, not quite got rid of, and they start building up. And it starts to get to worsen and get increase over months and years. And yeah, I help them turn their lives around, and they're off skiing, back into the water, back into the sea, and back just doing normal things. People say just normal things, putting the dishes away, putting the washing in. They get their lives back. So what am I here to help you do is to get rid of the pain, to understand where it's come from, and that's a critical piece of it. And make sure that it never comes back. You know the triggers, you know how to get rid of it, and you know how to stop it coming back. So here's Lee. She's one of the first people that I took through this pain-free method in the Pain to Pain-Free program. And she came to me with awful nerve pain, trigeminal nerve pain, which is in the face. And she was one of the people who was feeling suicidal. She has 4 children. She just lost her husband to cancer. And that's when she found me. And she used to lock herself away for days at a time and just want to end it. You know, the kids were left to it. She couldn't function.
I experienced pain that I have never experienced before in my life. And I started to get these painful attacks in my face. And I went to the doctors and was diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia. And there's a nerve that runs through supplying your face in 3 branches and then goes down your neck. And some people, I'd read about some people's experience of one of the branches being inflamed and them feeling immense pain, but I was experiencing all the branches being inflamed at the same time. So my face would swell up, it would be very red. It affected my teeth and my gums. I could hardly open my mouth. I'd wake up in the morning, and if I had an attack that began in the night, I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't cry. It was so painful to even cry. I couldn't drink, I couldn't eat. I couldn't plan my day. I wasn't being a good mum to my children, and felt trapped by the pain. My life came to a standstill. 6 months later, I lost my mum very suddenly, and again the attacks came back with a vengeance, and now they weren't lasting hours or days. They had moved on to lasting for weeks, and one attack lasting for 3 weeks, which left me in a position of feeling suicidal and totally debilitating and drained me of all my energy. I felt like I was being wasted down to a nothing. You know, that the most I could ever do was cry, and even that was hugely painful. I went to the GP, and all they could offer was a really sort of heavy-duty pharmaceutical drug, which was numbed my entire being and made me so drowsy that I couldn't function properly. And I knew that it felt wrong. It didn't feel like a solution, and I certainly didn't want to live like that, because it wasn't living. I knew that I wasn't addressing the root cause. There was something inside of me that just knew that this wasn't the solution, it wasn't an answer, and it wasn't going to get better if I went down that route. Got in touch with Althea, that our paths crossed, and I am eternally grateful and so appreciative that we found each other, and that I was really ready to make a change in my life, and I wanted rid of this pain. I've been putting in, fighting and resisting pain that was surfacing, to no avail. That there is another way. If you're in pain right now and you have found Althea too, and you're contemplating whether to work with her, I would say, ask yourself, are you really ready for change? Have you absolutely reached your limit and definitely know that you want life to be different? Then make that step.
Okay, that was the dear Lee, and she always gets me going when I watch that. It was miraculous change, and healing is miraculous when you're in a terrible place, and then you are pain free, and you know how to control it and stop it returning. You know why you're in pain. When you have those tools, then you're flying. And she said something really important, that if you're really ready and open for change, it's a critical factor. I ask everybody who comes into my program, what would you say to others? And they, well, how are you feeling? What made you say yes? What made you do the program? And they say over and over and over, they say ready and open. Have you reached that point that you've had enough of your symptoms and you want to get rid of it? You want to get back to your life? Are you there? Then I can help you. Then world's your oyster, and PainFree is available to you. So let's talk about the healing, how it actually works then. There are three main golden rules. There are a number of golden rules, but critical ones, but these are the critical ones, the three main ones that it's really important, whether you get my help or not, to know what these are, to have these in mind when you're doing whatever for yourself to help yourself. Never ignore the pain. Never ignore the pain. It's like our red light system. Our body's always trying to be in balance. It's always checking everything. And when you feel in pain, it's like a red light signal to pay attention to something. And so many times people are ignoring, coping with, putting up with, deal with it later. Maybe they don't know what to do. And that's another angle of things. But don't ignore your pain. Don't ignore your pain. So it's the first thing. You're there, your body is there, your signals are there to guide you to sort something out. If you trod on a thorn and you're in pain, you wouldn't ignore it, would you? Right? So the pain signals are there for a very clear reason. So never ignore your pain. Here's the next one. Understand that it's a message that needs to be heard. It's a message, your body's messages to guide you to pain free. And even if you don't know what it is, you don't need to know actually to be pain free. Maybe you do know what it is. Maybe you've got some ideas why you're suffering, and that's great. But that's sort of intellectual knowledge. That's not body healing. So understanding that it's a message that needs to be heard. Just like when you're hungry, if you're hungry and you have a message, I'm hungry, you notice that message. You don't even think about it, do you? You're hungry. You feel that message in your physical body. Maybe your blood sugar's gone down. Maybe you're empty in your tummy. Maybe your body is calling for nutrients, isn't it? So you're hungry. That's all you know about it. Or maybe you do know about the details of things, but the it's not necessary, is it? You just need to know you're hungry. And what do you do about it? You do the right actions that get you pain free, get you message free. Once you eat, you're not hungry anymore, right? So your message goes. That's exactly the same for any signal of the body, including pain signals, muscle, joint, bone, nerve, anything. Your body gives you signals all the time. I need to itch something. I'm tired. I need to lie down. I need to move. I need to get some fresh air. We have these signals all the time. We just live with them daily, don't we? So your pain messages are no different. It's exactly the same. It's a message that wants to be heard. And when you do that, the pain will be gone. Just like when you're hungry, do the right thing, and the pain and the hunger message is gone. Well, the pain-free method, that's exactly what I give you. What do you do? What do you do to make your pain message go? That's what you get with the pain-free method. The third golden rule of healing is that in order for pain to release, your normal instincts won't serve you. So I hinted at this just a moment ago, that perhaps you don't know how. Healing, self-healing is not something we're typically taught, especially in the West. We're taught to go to the doctors, and if something's bad enough and we can't do anything about it, we go to the doctors. The doctors are trained to give us to look at the symptoms, to give us medication or operations, or send us to a specialist. And your instincts, these kind of instincts, they don't work. This is not how healing works. This is not what the body wants. Your pain is a message that wants to be heard, and this is something that might trigger you. And if it does, I don't blame you. And I was brought up in England, And like many people, I was brought up and antibiotics are best, and that's what you do. And you, if something gets bad enough, you go to the doctor. I did go to the doctor. I was living off Savlon and Germaline and TCP and all these regular things. And now, of course, there's many things, ibuprofen and anodine and all sorts of things. And the truth of the body is that that's not how the body works. It's not how healing works, and that'll be one reason why you're still suffering despite what you've been doing. But I'll explain that a bit more. So it's not your fault if you are doing your normal instinctive reactions and it's not working. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you were like me, learned the regular route. So as I said, typically we go to the doctors if it's bad enough. Here's Rose. She's a nurse. She's been a nurse for 17 years. And she came to me with 9 months of cold, painful, tingling feet, constant pain, constant pain. And I took her through my method. And within the first 10 minutes, she was pain free. She had warm, toasty feet. She was so shocked. On the first call we had together, you could see she was just in shock. And she wasn't really listening to anything else after that. She was just over the moon and in shock. My feet are warm, but my feet are warm. Yeah. So when you do the correct things, your body instantly reacts. It just does. If you touch yourself, your nerves automatically get the sensation that you're touching something. You know, your body doesn't think; it reacts. And when you do the right actions, your body will react in the right way. And for nurse, for Rose, she's a nurse. She did everything. She took very strong painkillers, tramadol and morphine patches. They didn't work. They just knocked her out for the day. She made her feel drowsy, and then the pain came back. The pain comes back because the correct actions are not taking place. She put warm socks on every night. She had a warm bath every night. Nothing worked. Constant pain, constant pain. And the only thing that slightly worked, she bought a TENS machine or a vibration machine, and she put her feet on that, and she said that worked a little bit, but as soon as she stopped, the pain came back. So she did my method, yeah, in 10 minutes. 9 months of cold, painful feet for constant pain, gone in 10 minutes. When you do the correct things, and this is not something, it's not some sort of crazy weird thing. Have been a therapist for over 30 years, and this is something I developed about over 20 years ago. So it's been a proven method from all my studies, all my research, all my knowledge and experience. This is I discovered how it works, and this is what I teach today, and this is what I can teach you. Our doctor might send us to the hospital for tests or operations. Many people have multiple tests, CT scans, MRI scans. Months go by, they may or may not have any results or clarity still, and maybe the symptom still gets worse. Maybe they have operations and it still gets worse. It doesn't get rid of the problem. This is Linda. Linda came to me with severe back pain. She couldn't walk. She had originally a job that was heavy lifting and increasingly damaged her back. So she got increasing back pain to the point that she couldn't walk, and she had severe pain. So she called the doctor, like which is normal for the West. That's what we do. We call the doctor. The doctor sent an ambulance for her immediately, sent her to the hospital. The hospital kept her in for a week, did loads of tests on her, MRI scans, CT scans, blood tests, and all the rest of it. And after a week, they sent her home with a diagnosis: you've got back pain. Actually, it was osteoarthritis and crumbling spine, and left her with tramadol and morphine as well. She came back home to people making her tea, and she had a walker and steps to help her in the bathroom and the kitchen. And she was depressed, healthy, fit, able, strong lady. And she was there incapacitated in constant pain. She couldn't move, and people caring for her. It's not a life that she wanted, and she felt depressed. That's when she found me. And the next day she was walking. The next day she was walking. When you do the correct things, your body will naturally react just like that. It just does. Just, as I said, just like If you touch yourself, your body reacts. Now, the mind doesn't believe any of this because the mind is intellectual and wants details and how can it be possible and what's good, what do you mean, and I don't believe this, and that's all mind stuff. But the mind isn't the body, and the body doesn't care about all that stuff. Your body just reacts, and when you do the correct things, you get the results you want. So some of the reasons you might not have healed so far despite doing everything, I've mentioned some of them already. Maybe you don't believe you can. Maybe you've been told that you're going to have this for the rest of your life. Like that guy I was saying with the special chair he bought. He was told to learn to live with it. Here's the pain medications and you're going to have this the rest of your life. Perhaps you haven't been taught to self-heal. I mean, I was a therapist and even I didn't know. I used to think in the beginning the techniques were the thing and working with the body, and then I started to understand. I got it. It doesn't work like that. Those are just the mechanisms, like having a massage or doing yoga or drinking water every day. These things, yes, they're great, but that's not the key. And what you learn with the pain-free method is what's the key. So here's Linda again, who was walking the next day, and she was really dragging her feet, literally possibly, to come and get my help. She was saying, "Oh, how can you clear my pain? How can you do that? How can you make that pain go away?" And yeah, so she started the program and she said, "Boy, was I wrong." I'm very happy when I see people heal. That's what I live for, I show you how to do this and it just makes my day to see you get the results, see the difference that makes to your life. It's just terrific. That's icing on the cake for me. And to see you get back to your life, forget about being in pain. It's a thing of the past. So here's what you need to know. Physical pain is a signal of something deeper. Okay, and trying to fix the symptoms, the surface symptoms, the symptoms you're experiencing today, only works to a certain point. Like that guy with the chair, he paid for chiropractic sessions, and he went to the doctor, he went to a specialist, he got special chairs. All these things would have helped to a degree, but he continued to be in pain. So it's a signal of something deeper. So if you only do surface things, if you only do mainstream, Western ways with the painkillers and things, it's just a patch. It's just a surface level thing. It's just scratching the surface. It's just like putting a plaster on a wound. It's not where the healing comes from. You have to go deeper. You have to go to the reason it's there. So one of the main reasons you're still suffering after months, years even, is because there's story behind it. Reasons your body is doing it. And you may understand those reasons and you may not understand those reasons, and that's okay. But you have to connect to them. Otherwise, the body will continue doing the problem. That's why surface things can't work. Can you see that? So if I step on a thorn, like the story I was saying before, if I step on a thorn and I'm hurting and I put antibacterials, or I clean it up, or I take the weight off my foot, or I rest my foot, if I don't take that thorn out, it's going to get worse, isn't it? It's going to get infected, it's going to get sore, it's going to get worse. The signals of the body are going to start screaming. That's what happens. So you have to address the reason, the underlying root cause, why your pain or problems are there. You have to. And that's the second step. So you have to have all the pieces of what's going on for you. Yes, the presenting symptoms. Yes, of course, you've got to deal with those. And the pain-free method, there are 3 steps in the pain-free method. The first step is get rid of the darn pain. Get rid of the uncomfortable symptoms. That's the very first thing you learn from day 1. But the next step, step 2, is where you clear the reason they're there, clear the root cause. And the lovely side effects when you are pain-free, there are fantastic side effects. Also, your cork just bubbles up. You come back to being you. You come back to doing the things you want. But one of the wonderful things about being pain-free is that you come off your meds. Most people who come to me are on pain meds. I would say not everybody tells me what meds they're on, but You know, it's not my business. I'm not a doctor, so I don't advise on these things. But what I do know is that people come off their meds. They tell me all the time, I haven't taken my tramadol for weeks. I haven't had my antidepressants. I haven't had my painkillers. And some people, and one lady, we did go through what she was taking. She was taking 15 separate tablets every single day. 15, and it was just all those side effects, and she didn't want to take them anyway. But yeah, when you become pain free, you won't want to take them. You won't want to. And as I said, it's not something I advise on. It's not my area of knowledge. I'm not a doctor. But when you are pain free, which I do teach you, then this is a beautiful side effect of being pain free, that you come off your meds. Most people who come to me, they want a natural solution. And that's what I teach. And they're very happy they don't want to take the meds anyway. So let me introduce you to what is the pain-free method. What are those 3 magical steps, miraculous steps that get you pain-free in 10 minutes or pain-free walking the next day, and to take you to pain-free? What is it? It is the pain-free method, and a method that I developed. I created around about 2000, and it's been a proven method ever since. Here is Julie.
Hey, just tell me what happened. So what happened when we started? How were you feeling when we just started?
Really tense and in a lot of pain.
And where was it? Where was the
in
pain?
my shoulders and going down on my left side of my spine.
Okay, and is this something that you have every day or just now, or what?
Yeah, it's been happening for quite a while. I carry a lot of stress and tension in my shoulders. Yeah.
So, and what do you normally do to get rid of it or help yourself?
Take painkillers, try a few stretches, and it never works.
And it never works?
No.
And you mentioned the physio was giving you information about
Yeah.
that and things.
Yeah.
And what happened with the physio?
Well, he massaged it, and I did feel the initial relief, but then my muscles just feel bruised because
Yes.
he massaged them for me, so they feel quite bruised and quite tender and sore.
Okay, so an initial relief, but then the bruising and soreness. And how long have you had this discomfort, this pain?
I would say since my 20s on.
Since your 20s?
Yeah.
And may I ask how old are you now?
53.
So a good few years of pain and tension. And so it's all in your back then, and your shoulders, and goes down your spine.
My neck. Yeah.
And if it could say a number between 1 and 10, what was the number when we just started just now?
8.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Of tension and pain. Is that right?
I looked into it and I felt it and I recognised it, and then it just disappeared. It just evaporated. That's the only. Yeah, that's the only way I can explain it.
That's it. Magical. Your body's magical, isn't it?
I breathe deeply.
Yes.
Through the nose and out the mouth. Breathe deeply, and I gave it my full attention.
Yes. And so, what normally would you have done?
Just ignored it. Thought, I've got to carry on working.
Yeah.
Just took some painkillers or some ibuprofen.
Yeah. And so, has this ever happened before? Just gone, evaporated.
No.
Would it take from going from an 8 out of 10 to evaporation? What was the time span of that?
Just a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Just a couple of minutes.
Would you have thought that's possible before
No.
you took the churro?
We're being in pain, fed up with taking painkillers. After a while they don't work.
Yeah.
This is an ongoing problem. I've been to physiotherapy. I've done back exercises, and just nothing's worked. Just nothing.
With my pain-free method, 2 minutes, and evaporation.
Yeah.
Oh, this is how long ago? So that was
yesterday. Yeah, that was just yesterday. So but nowhere. I would say I've gone from an 8 to maybe a 1 or a 2.
What would you say to them who are perhaps in the same situation, in pain, tried medication, tried physio, have an 8 out of 10 or more? What would you say to them?
Just try it, give it a go. Keep an open mind. Don't think, oh, this isn't going to work. Just try it.
So that was Julie, and we just started working together. So 30 years of back pain, and you can see she's a carer. A lot of heavy lifting, on her feet all day, long hours, and yeah, evaporated, as she said, pain gone in 2 minutes. And even, she had that physio just before then, and that's a good example of, you can do things. You can't force your body to do things. You have to do the correct actions for it to release, not force it to do stuff, which is what typically we do. Like she had the physio that she was tender, but yeah, 30 years of back pain and gone in 2 minutes, evaporated. So what's step one? There are 3 steps in the pain-free method. The first step is release the pain. That's the first thing I teach you, the first thing you're going to learn. So you start to feel relief from day one. That's the first thing I show you what to do. The next step is to keep the pain away, stop the symptoms developing, understanding why they're there, connecting with the root cause. And the third part is to get back to you, get your life back, start building up the you that you want. A lot of people who have been in pain for a long time, they say things like they can't remember what it's like being pain-free or being without it. They live in constant pain. It's their world these days. So step 3 is all about getting back to you, getting your life back, getting back to you. So what do I give you with the pain-free method? You learn how to clear chronic physical, skeletal, muscular back pain. As I said, there are many other symptoms that I have been successful in helping people to clear. And when I say pain, sometimes people say to me, well, I'm not in pain, Althea, but I'm suffering things like they have bladder problems, they have insomnia, they have anxiety, lots of people with anxiety. And they've been through traumas, they have phobias, so all sorts of things, and eating disorders, all sorts of things. And all of these things I mentioned have been proven to be gone with the pain-free method. So you can use it for anything. I call it thing you don't want, thing on that side of the scale, things that are discomfort to you, discomfort. So when I say pain, you can put sort of discomfort or thing you don't want in that pot. To learn how to get rid of the pain or discomfort without pain meds or operations and be permanently pain-free. So this is your invitation to join me on the Pain to Pain Free 90-day program, which is where you learn the method, the 3 steps. The first step is to get rid of the pain, the second is to clear the root cause, and third is to get your life back. And it's designed to take you from chronic physical pain to clearing it for good. You have a skill for life. You learn something very simple. The method is very easy. It's very simple. It's our stuff that holds our pain in place, our problems that creates the pain in the first place. That's the stuff that takes time to go through, to unbuckle from, buckle from the patterns that have got you into this awful place in the first place. And what are those things? And that's the stuff that takes time to unbuckle from. And yeah, you'll start to feel relief from day one, like many people who do. So you learn to get rid of the pain, to understand where the pain comes from and stop it returning, to enjoy a pain-free life and be able to do the things you want again. People are walking again, they're going outside for the first time in 18 months. One lady had high-level anxiety. She's back going out like it's nothing, like it's just a daily thing. And she hadn't been out in 18 months. You get your life back. One lady was surfing and she had back pain so bad that was a lady who was offered pain meds and operations by the doctor, and she said to the doctor, is this it? You're just going to offer me pain meds? Where does it go from here? And he offered her an operation which she didn't want. She did the pain-free method, and after that she went off surfing. So in the Pain to Pain Free program, the very first thing you learn is how to be pain-free, how to get rid of your symptoms. It's the very first thing you learn. Some people say to me, why didn't you teach the method first and how it works and everything? But I like to get on with it. I'm a practical girl. I like to, bit of shock and awe. I like to, you're suffering, aren't you? Don't you want to get pain-free as soon as possible? That's why it's step one. Step one is get rid of the pain as soon as possible. Step two is go through the layers of what's creating your pain, like an onion, like layers of an onion. Going through the layers, unbuckling from the stuff that's created it. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for change? Are you really ready to be pain-free? Because when you do address your pain, it holds all the reasons. It's there. So when you start to clear your pain, your problems, your discomfort, you're going to be coming up against all the things that created it. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? Some people come to me and they want to just get rid of the symptoms and off they go. Well, healing doesn't work like that. You're not just a physical pain, are you? You're not just a physical thing in your body. You're also your dreams and aspirations, what you want to do in your life or in your day. Who are you? What have you been through? Your feelings, your thoughts. There is so much more to you than just your physical symptoms, aren't you? You know, so when you connect to the physical problems you're experiencing, you will naturally start connecting to all the other pieces of you. And it may be painful to go there. And that's what I support you on. That's what I guide you on. That's what the whole point of the method is, to take you through pain release, to clear the reasons they're there, to get you back into the place you want to be, that you want to be. I'm not going to take you anywhere you don't want to be. I take you to where you want to be. And that can be tough. That can take time sometimes. But if you're ready, I can guide you. To be free, to be running on the beach, to be doing whatever you want in your life. A lot of people just say they want to be normal. They just want to feel normal again. So that's step three. Get rid of the pain, understand where it's come from, and make sure it never comes back again. You're going to learn a skill, a simple, easy skill for life. It's extremely effective, as I'm hoping you've seen some of the examples of that I've shown you, that it's extremely effective. So you learn something for life that you'll always have. So how do you do this method? How are you going to do the program? How is it possible? There are two options. The first option is to come and get my help one-to-one. And this isn't for everybody. You know, not everybody wants private one-to-one support and guidance, coaching. And I take you through the 90-day program, the Pain to Pain-Free program, and I teach you the method. I show you how to be pain-free from day one. And we have private calls together. You have a full access to the whole program, and I guide you through any wobbles you might go through, any blocks you might go through, which would be really natural. We've all got blocks in us. We've all got that point where it's difficult to go past, and things that the old triggers, the old patterns. And that's what is the value of having me there, that I guide you through those things. And as we go through the program, you'll learn the method for yourself and how to do it. And I support you on that every step of the way. But it's not for everybody. This is a tailored experience, one-to-one, and there is another option. So you might prefer to be learning the pain-free method in a group. And this is also a lovely place to learn the method, but you'll be learning in a group rather than privately one-to-one. And obviously the cost is a lot less in the group. The community is there to support you and guide you. Of course, the first step is that you're there for you to get rid of your pain. You have full access to the full program, just like the one-to-one, and you have full access to a support group where I'm in the group with you, supporting and guiding you. But rather than privately, this is as a group that I guide you. You have two live Zoom calls every single week, and you have 24/7 support. I mean, I might not be answering you 24/7, but in my working hours, I will be answering all questions that you have, any guidance I can give to you. If you're not sure about anything, you come into the group for support. So you learn the method, and then you come into the group for support. And that's a 90-day program as well. And I'm in the group with you and to guide you. So here are just some of the people that have already become pain-free with the pain-free methods. This lady, Noreen, she was bedridden with arthritis, didn't think she had a future. Her husband did everything for her. She was bedridden with arthritis. She couldn't get off the floor. She couldn't get out of bed. That was it. And she started to be pain-free within the first few days. And in week 5, I think it was 5, around about week 4 or 5, she was completely pain-free. Can you imagine what that does to somebody? This lady came back to me a year later. Look how happy she is. And she came to me. She didn't think I could help her because her pain level was too far gone. It was too much. And yeah, she became pain-free. She started to be pain-free as soon as we started to work together, as everybody does. And she came back. I saw her a year later, and she says, God, my life is different. You know, she had all paraphernalia to help her. She had special mattresses. She was taking a lot of painkillers, all gone. And this is a year later. Here is Zoe. Zoe came to me. She could not stand up for more than a couple of minutes. She had degenerative discs. Her back was so far gone that they wouldn't operate on her. So they gave her cocodamol and morphine to deal with the pain. And she carried a chair around with her everywhere because she couldn't go for long walks. She couldn't go out on a Sunday jaunt, or, you know, she had to use a chair to sit on all the time. And after we started together, she was still standing 2.5 hours later. She was elated. She was over the moon, and yeah, pain free. So will it work for you?
You will not know whether it works for you or not without trying it. I see your testimonials, and so then I realise that if I don't take this opportunity to try it now, then I will never know if it would have worked for me, and I will be reading the testimonials on your page and thinking, oh, if only that were me. But it was where you were asking, what does Linda need? What makes Linda happy?
Yeah.
You know, that part of it is life-changing, because that has been wrong for me all of my life. All of my life. Yeah.
So that's a massive change, and of course how you're feeling is how your body's going to reflect. Your body's going to reflect that, and what happens in your knees and your legs. When you're filling your cup with what you need in your life. So that was a massive change for you too. Then
it really was. Yes,
wonderful.
Absolutely. I was doing what you said not to do, which is don't push through pain. But I was having to, because I didn't have 45 minutes to spare on every step. And then last week you sorted that out for me, and now I can do it in moments. So I can do it. So I don't walk with pain. I don't tolerate pain. I turn it off. You've got this skill for life.
Yeah.
You don't have to ever be at the mercy of pain. You don't have to wait for it to go off. You don't have to wait for something to be healed.
That's right.
You can let your body know you've received that message. Thank you and goodbye. I imagine that for some people, one of the most difficult things is to believe that anything could work the way it does. So I think something else I would say is to trust you. You have been doing this a long time. They need to trust you, and to trust you that you are not selling them something that will fail. You know it works, and you work so hard with us to be sure it's working for us. I had an understanding that it works. I did believe it works. My sticking point was, but it won't work for me. And I realised that actually it is something you do yourself. You use this method. We use this method ourselves. So the only question is not, oh, will it work for me? It's, will I make it work? The more I've used it, the faster it's become. And something work once, then it worked. And if you've had it not work, if you've not been able to make it work to be accurate, if you've not just done it quite in the way that it's going to make it work, or it's taking a while, you must not let that counteract what you know to be the truth, that it does work.
Yeah, so you may be feeling the same. You may be feeling a bit skeptical. I would say everybody who comes to me feels skeptical. But once you start feeling relief, you feel the difference it's making for you, then that should override your skepticism, because it's working and you're doing the actions to get the results you want. So here we are. We've reached the end of the presentation, and this is my gift to you, to send you a pain-free e-guide to get you started, to get the first steps of how does your body function, how does it react what are the correct things to do to start your healing journey. Okay, so you're going to receive that from me, as well as a recording of this call. And so I would like to take you to the next step. If you feel that this has resonated with you, that you want to explore if this is the right thing for you, or if you're ready to get started, book a free consultation with me and let's talk. We'll talk about what is it you're suffering with and how I can help you, and see what you want to do going forward. So I'll be sending the link to book up for a free consultation with me in the email that you're going to get after this call. And what I'd love to do is to open up for questions now. If you have any questions or ask me anything, I'm going to pull out of the sharing and come into the Zoom again. And yeah, so if you would like to, is anybody who would like to ask a question, would like to something you want to know about? Pearl, Pam, Linda, is there something you want to ask about before we close? What is it you want to know? You can, if you're feeling a bit shy, you can always text into the text box. Do you know how to? I know, Pearl, you know where that is, that texting thing now. Or if you want to speak, unmute yourself and speak. So is there anything you'd like to know? Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to show the video if you don't want to. That's absolutely fine. I just want to address your questions if you have any. Was that clear? Does that make sense? Is there anything that you wanted to know about or understand, or want me to explain something? Do you want to ask about your particular condition? And do you have any questions? Is everything clear on that? Do you want to ask anything, anyone? So while you're just having a think about that, or let me know, I will be sending a recording of this to your email, which will include the link to book a free consultation and also the free e-guide to get started. And if you've seen the free guide already, or maybe you haven't, if you have seen it already, go and have a look at it again, because it's the foundation of healing. Understanding the reasons that your pain is in place, to start those that thinking going about, what is it for you? And then you kind of open the door to begin your healing. Obviously, I teach on the program itself, so that is what I strongly encourage you to come on to. There are many testimonials on my YouTube channel, on my website, or ask me anything. From the email, you might think of something you wanted to ask me. So, feel free to ask me anything. Ping an email to me and let me know what you want to know. I'm happy to address any questions. Okay, so for now, thank you so much, everybody. If there aren't any questions going ahead for now, tumbleweed. Anything for now? Okay, so if there isn't anything for now, if you think of something later, please do email me. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found hope and that little twinkle of you can be pain-free. It is possible. Many people have been through my program and they have become pain-free and learnt a skill for life, so it's completely possible. And I look forward to guiding you if that's something you want, and let me know through the emails, or book a consultation and we'll talk privately on the consultations. So thank you so much for everybody for joining me today, and I look out for your email that will be with you later today. Thank you so much. Bye for now.